Hi, it's Andy here at Photech Video. Recently, I added a video to my channel in which I explain the panning technique using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. The idea of the panning technique is for you to be able to freeze your moving subject and create motion blur behind and in front of the subject. For that tutorial video, I used my Sony a5100, which is a 10-year-old entry-level mirrorless camera, coupled with the Sony 16 to 50mm f3.5 to f5.6 kit lens, and I obtained this motion blur effect by adjusting my shutter speed, my aperture and my ISO to the correct settings, and also panning my camera at the speed of the moving object to be able to freeze it. If you're interested in watching that video, you can click on the link up here. Since then, several people have told me that they like this effect and that they would like to create it, but they haven't got a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a similar effect using the stock camera in your mobile phone. Okay, so without further ado, let's see if we can create similar images to these, which were created on my Sony a5100 on our mobile phone camera. Very often, our mobile phone stock camera offers a series of different modes to be able to create different effects in your images. A while back, I added a video to my channel in which I explain the long exposure function of the Google Pixel 8 stock camera, and you can watch that video in the link up here. Well, another function of the Google Pixel 8 is the mode called Action Pan, which creates a similar effect to using a panning technique on your DSLR or mirrorless camera. The Google Pixel 8 and the Pixel 6, 7 and 9, from what I've read, all include this feature. And the great thing about it is that this mode doesn't require you to set shutter speed, aperture and ISO. All you need to do is to set the Action Pan mode on your stock camera and then try to pan your mobile phone at the same speed as the moving object and press the shutter release button. Your Google Pixel phone will do the rest for you. In fact, in some of the images which I'm going to include in this video taken on the Pixel 8, it wasn't even necessary to pan at the same speed as the subject. All I had to do was to choose a focus point, and when the moving object entered into that focus point, click on the shutter release button and my Pixel 8 did the rest for me. As with the long exposure mode on the Pixel 8, the effect seems to be created in phone after pressing the shutter release button. As you can see, it says Processing Action Plan. Not quite sure why it says plan and not pan, but it's actually processing after creating the image. And once it's processed the image, you have the possibility of the image with the motion blur, or a version of that same image but without motion blur, with everything in focus. In my test images, I chose the Action Pan feature, and then I chose the 0.5 lens to have a wider angle and therefore a more dramatic effect. I found that the Action Pan mode on my Google Pixel 8 gave some great results with moving cars, buses, bicycles, and even people. I understand that a similar feature also exists in stock cameras of other brand mobile phones. Samsung, for example, has a mode which is called Photo Remaster. And although from what I've read, the iPhone doesn't have a dedicated mode for creating these Action Pan shots, I believe it's possible to use the portrait mode, which can give similar effects. So let's take a look at some of the images created on my Google Pixel 8 in the Action Pan mode. And remember that this function is literally point and shoot. Once you've selected Action Pan, there's very little else that you can do to change the camera settings. And for those of you who have a Google Pixel 8 or 6, 7 and 9, you'll know that the stock camera doesn't offer the possibility of changing your shutter speed, aperture and ISO, unlike the Pro version. So there you go, some examples of the action pan feature on my Google Pixel 8. Do they look as genuine as those taken using a DSLR or mirrorless camera with a panning technique combined with shutter speed, aperture and ISO variations? Possibly not. Is it as much fun using the Google Pixel 8 action pan feature to create these images where we have the moving subject frozen and motion blur in the background and foreground? I would say definitely not. But does it help you to create images with that frozen moving subject and the background and foreground motion blur if you have no other way of doing it? Absolutely yes. And finally, does it feel like cheating? Well, yes, it does a little bit, but if it gets the job done and gives you the results that you're looking for, then give it a try. Remember that to create this type of image on your DSLR or mirrorless camera, you need to adjust your shutter speed, aperture and ISO, as well as pan your camera at the correct speed to freeze that subject. Whereas if you use the action pan mode on your Google Pixel 8 or other Google Pixel camera, all you need to do is pan your camera at the correct speed and press the shutter release button. And as I said before, sometimes it's not even necessary to pan your phone because it doesn't seem to affect the final result of the processed image that much. So to sum up, if you haven't got a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, or you haven't got the inclination to give it a try, but you want to try and get some interesting images, turn on your mobile phone, which is with you all the time, select your action pan feature and give it a try. What have you got to lose? Remember that whether you capture your images on a mobile phone, on a DSLR, on a mirrorless camera, or any other type of camera, the important thing is that photography is fun for you. So whenever you have a few spare minutes, pick up your camera, practice, 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 and experiment, experiment, experiment. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you have a similar mode on the stock camera in your mobile phone, and also if you've given it a try and what you think of the results. Or even if it has inspired you to pick up your DSLR or mirrorless camera and give it a try using the panning technique. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I love reading your comments. I always answer your questions, and interacting with my channel is a great way for me to know the kind of content which you'd like me to create in future videos. If you liked this video and found it interesting, please click on the like button and share it with any friends, family, or social media groups which you think may also find it interesting. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and while you're at it, ring on that notification bell to be notified every time a new video drops on my channel. You'll find affiliate links to gear used in the making of this video in the description section down below. If you do purchase something through one of my affiliate links, thank you. The price to you will be the same, and I will receive a small commission which will help me to continue creating content for you here on my channel. So until the next time, this is Andy at Photech Video signing off. Take care and be safe.